Hi everybody, it's Claire back with another art journal video, and this one is an older page. I've got a bit behind with editing some of my videos. So this is a page that I've done using some of Natalie May's Alice inspired collage papers. I thought this little white rabbit was super cute, so you can see I'm just using a water brush to pop the image out. Doing it this way gives it a really nice soft edge, which makes it a little bit easier to blend into your journal page when it comes to sticking it in. Nat's collage papers are fabulous for doing this with, so it's something that it works really easily. So I've got my image out, and then I'm going to start working on my background. So going for some collage on the background, and I'm starting off with book pages and a bit of tissue paper that's got some really cool text on it. So using matte medium to stick this in place, I really enjoyed creating this page. It kind of started off with a bit of a grungy vibe. I don't know, sometimes the images that I use kind of guide me in what I'm going to actually do with my page. So that was how come I started off kind of sticking loads of collage onto my background. Not necessarily particularly balanced, just sticking it on and using up the bits of paper that were on my desk. As you can see, I'm using quite a lot of matte medium because I knew I was going to go in with some more pieces as well. So I'm thinking now, looking at the image of the rabbit, that I've taken inspiration for these colours on the background from the rabbit's kind of jacket and trousers. They've got that kind of sort of lovely beigey tones to them, and I think that's probably why it led me down this path. So sticking quite a lot of stuff on my background here. Sometimes it's nice to get your page going by just sticking loads of collage paper onto your background. It gives you a great start, gets rid of that blank page, and it gives you that first layer. So once it was dry, I'm then using, I think that's probably buff or sand, I'm not entirely sure which, I think probably buff, and just sticking a bit of that onto my page and just pulling that around using one of Dina's round brushes, and then just going in with a little bit more so it's a little bit more opaque. Then I'm going to pop on the stencil and just lift a bit of that off through the stencil just to reveal some of the pattern beneath. So I kind of felt with this one, because the white rabbit is known for, you know, I'm late, being late, just like me. I am going with circles because I knew I was going to add some clocks onto this page too. So then I've grabbed umber and I'm just pulling that through the page as well. If only I could paint that fast in real life, that would be amazing. And then again, lifting that through the stencil. So you can see just starting to build those layers. I'm using the same stencil. So at this stage, I'm not introducing too many new things because that's already starting to look quite busy. So then I am going to use, I think, buff again and actually add some stenciling onto the page now. So this is one thing that I do like to do when I'm noticing that my background's getting quite busy. I try not to introduce too many new things at this stage when I'm adding my layers. So this is why I'm using the same stencil that I've done the reductive stenciling with, and the same colours, just so that it all kind of, it has that cohesive feel and hangs together really nicely. So here again I'm using umber, so I'm using the same colour that's already in the background, and I'm pulling this stencil through, this sort of directional one, just to bring the attention to the centre of the page. And now I'm starting to drop a little bit of colour in, so I think this is Sedona. I've taken my inspiration for this from his little jacket, the little rabbit's jacket, and I've gone in with a smaller pattern here. Now you're going to think, Claire, you're bonkers, because now you've covered up that bit of stenciling. It doesn't matter, does it? I'm just calming down an area for the little rabbit to sit in because I didn't want him to get too lost into the background. This is a technique I often use when I'm going to pop a collage image on and my background's gone a bit bonkers, because I love making backgrounds. I think it's lots of fun, and sometimes it's fun to just let loose and kind of see what comes out. So creating this little area of calm, you can see he sits on there nicely, and also it helps those edges blend really well too. So now I'm just grounding him, giving a bit of a shadow underneath his feet, just so that he isn't floating off the bottom of the page. And I used a Stabilo all pencil for that. So this is Dina's Circles for Painting stencil, one of my absolute favourites. And again, I'm using Sedona. And these circles are going to become lots of little clocks that are going to be around the edge of the page with the theme of, you know, I'm late. So I am just popping some of those on. I'm trying to keep the paint quite opaque at this stage because I want to go in and add numbers to these clocks and hands as well, so that it all kind of hangs together. So sometimes for me it's fun to create a story with my journal pages. Yeah, I think this is kind of a little bit more of a storytelling page. So lots of fun to kind of think about ways that you can get the message across. So then I'm just loosely outlining those circles using a Posca pen, holding it quite high up just so that I can be a bit more loose with it, adding my little scribbly lines that I like to pop on. And then I'm using lots of my different stamp sets. First of all, I'm going to add a little bit of black text onto the page as well, around the image, around the bottom of the page. Just adding these little details just start to give it that real mixed media feel, and I think creating a bit more depth on the page too. So then I'm also going to just grab as many of my alphabet and number stamp sets as I can find and use those to stamp some numbers onto my clocks in different fonts so that they all look a bit different. Now this did take quite a while, but it was lots of fun. And sometimes for me, the process of doing journal pages is as much about playing as it is about what the finished product is going to be and how it's going to look and whether it achieves what I want it to achieve when I have finished my page. So yeah, this took a little while, but it was fun to grab all of my alphabet stamp sets out and find the different numbers that would work with this page. And I'm using black archival ink to stamp these on as well. So then you can see I'm just popping some hands on the clock, so they're all at different times, just creating that feeling of like a complete chaos, no idea what time it is. It's often like my life. Yes, I don't know, I do have a bit of a thing about thinking I can get more done with the time that I've got available to me, and then ending up being a little bit on the minutes, as I call it. So yeah, and then just adding some white splatters to the page too. So now I'm just adding my words into the little calm space in the middle. Of course, trying not to worry too much if it does overlap, it really doesn't matter. Yeah, so started off with a thinner pen and the words were disappearing, so grabbed a thicker one and just popped the rest of my sentence in there. So I kind of just Googled a quote about the white rabbit being late that I could use on my page, and this one kind of worked because, yeah, isn't this so true? The more you rush, the slower and more behind sometimes you seem to get. Yes, definitely the case. So popped those words on there and then decided to use a white gel pen to just add like a little shadow line onto these letters. Kind of has the effect of popping them out a little bit. Yeah, and of course your page has got to be super dry before you use any pens, including Posca pens, but gel pens particularly don't like it if your page is damp. I have ruined many a pen doing that. So this was a really fun page to create, starting with lots of layers of collage and taking inspiration for the colours from the colours in the collage image itself. using that as a great starting point. So I do have some of Natalie May's collage papers in my shop on my website, artjournallove.com. Pop over there and have a look. There's lots of other downloads and all sorts of free content on there as well as Art Journal Lovers, the subscription part of my website. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.